Welcome to the Conscious Channeling Workshop. I trust that you will get way more from this workshop than you ever anticipated. The technique you will learn on this workshop is conscious channeling. This technique helps you to connect with the higher realms and the higher dimensions while staying fully present in yourself. You will discover that you've been channeling unconsciously all your life. When you're in your heart space concerning anybody, you will be channeling, because that's how the guides are able to impress you with information to tell the person that you're speaking to who's in a bad space emotionally. Those gut feelings that you get is your information coming through from your soul or from your higher self to tell you when you should or shouldn't do something, where you have to make a decision about something. By learning to communicate with your higher self on a conscious level, you're able to ask questions about your everyday life decisions that you need to make. If there's any information that you require, you're able to get it directly for yourself instead of going to get the information from other people. If you ask 10 different people what their opinion was about something, you would get 10 different answers. And it's really important to get the correct information for you. You are the only one that knows what's right for you. Nobody else knows. Because nobody else is you in your body experiencing what you're experiencing at the time. This tool can be used for everything. There's no small things or things that are too small and things that are too great where you can't use the technique. If it's simple confirmation of a trip that you need to make, if it's a simple decision about whether you should go shopping now rather than later, all those things play a big role in your life, although you don't realize it. A delay that happens where you just stay in tune and not get upset because something has delayed you, like a telephone call, is really important, because you could have avoided an accident. You may never find out what was avoided, but if you went and got irritated and ignored the phone call, perhaps, you may find out what it was that you were being protected from to start off with. This tool can be used in work, in play, in prayer, meditation. There's no isolation. It's a spiritual tool, and so it can't be used for the mundane things in life. We are spiritual beings having a physical experience. We're meant to have the full impact of the physical experience coming from the spiritual space of understanding why things happen as they do. Through this technique, you'll be able to see how you get information on the different things in life. You'll see things more at a higher perspective rather than just what your five senses present to you. The whole purpose of meditation is to get into a quiet, centered space. It's not always easy to do that because we live in a noisy world. That's part of what our experience is in this world. Through the meditation, using the technique, you will be able to get into that still, quiet space that you need to be in when you meditate, even if you're in the middle of a rock concert. The whole purpose of prayer and meditation is to communicate and connect with the higher realms. I like the way they say that prayer is when you're talking to God and meditation is when you're listening to God. Although some people have a judgment around what meditation means, but that is about as spot on a description of it if ever I've heard. This workshop helps you to realize that you are completely supported on all levels. You have access to untold power by these beings supporting you in the way that they do. They are at our beck and call, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. They are there to support us because they know that for everything that we do, we have a knock-on effect on everybody around us. The more we understand our experience that we're going through, the better we handle it. And so we then become the example for others who are going through the same experience of showing them how these experiences can be handled. To make the decision to take your power back is a huge thing to do. And by engaging in this workshop and wanting to learn about it, that's actually what you've done without realizing it. As I said, the technique is not specifically used in one avenue, not just in a spiritual way. If you're someone who gives lectures, if you get into your connected space to give a lecture, you'll find that you function more coherently, where the information flows, the ideas and the examples that you need to use are just there because you are more in tune with that part of you that knows more than just what you know on your physical level. Even though you are au fait with the subject, sometimes we get tongue-tied, we're unable to get the whole thing to flow. But if you're in your connected space, you're operating from a more coherent space. The workshop makes you feel more confident and less fearful because you know you have access to the angelic and celestial realms. Channeling is natural for us. We were all born psychic. We were all born intuitive. There's nobody on this planet that exists that does not have intuition. But when we saw things when we were small, if we saw colors around people, if we were aware of something that was going to happen before it happened, then the adults around us told us not to talk about that, not to say those things. Where did we get it from? And so we desensitized ourselves from the information that we were getting. But that information was our guide, is our guide. We get information all the time through our thoughts, through feelings that we get. We're getting information from our higher self and our guides all the time. We just don't know how to listen to it. If you're driving down the road a particular day and you get the fact of, don't take this route, take this route. And you're thinking, that route's 10 minutes longer. I'm not taking that route, I'm taking this one. And then when you go along this route, you find that you get stuck in a traffic jam or some delay. And for a moment, you think, I should have actually gone the other way. I actually thought about that. And then you just write it off. You don't think, how come this day I actually thought about that I should have gone in the other route? Where did that information come from? We don't even question it. We instantly just dismiss it as a thought that had popped into our heads. We don't stop for a moment to question it. But that's the thing that we're getting information for all the time in our lives. God actually didn't just dump us here. He did give us a manual by our intuition. We were never ever supposed to just paddle this canoe on our own. We have access to guides all the time, every day, whether we are aware of it or not. The good, the bad, the ugly, the gorgeous, they all have access to the same thing. Because in truth, we're all the same on a soul level. And the support is there equally for each one of us. There's nobody that has more access to support than anybody else. There are just those that know that they can ask for the support and those that don't know about it yet. There's no discrimination as far as this is concerned. So it doesn't matter what color, creed, nationality, religion you are. Everybody has equal access to this information. We are taught to trust things that are logical. Things that are illogical, we shouldn't trust them. So when they can't explain, when you can see something, when you can hear something, when you're getting information or feelings about something that cannot logically be explained, they've told us to dismiss it. If you can relearn how to trust those hits that you get through your feelings, through your thoughts, because your higher self speaks to you in your own voice because it's a higher part of you. Once you relearn to trust these things, and I promise you there's no way you'll be able to explain it logically, but if you can learn to trust it by your feelings and by the thoughts that you get, and it's always the first thought, the first response that you get, that is your intuition that's coming through. Thereafter, your logical mind interferes, and that's when it can explain it away if it doesn't make any logical sense. But if you can start trusting that, you will absolutely transform your life. You will take your power back completely, and you will handle your life in a completely different way than you ever imagined that you could.